Wow, what a day, guys. Welcome to the video. Yesterday was probably the craziest Overwatch League day so far. Every single match delivered. You heard it first, guys. Every match delivered. Even Dallas Fuel and the New York Excelsior. I don't know how many times I can say it was just a beautiful day in the Overwatch League. We started off with Houston Outlaws upsetting the Seoul Dynasty, throwing a huge monkey wrench into the Overwatch League Stage 2 playoffs. Who is going to make it now? We'll talk about that later. New York Excelsior, Dallas Fuel. How in the hell did Dallas Fuel get 2 maps and almost win this set? Oh, by the way, they swapped their entire roster up. Mickie's the new main tank around town. Seagull's the new diva around town. We'll talk about that. Then it was the San Francisco Shock taking on the Boston Uprising. We got some more Sinatra. It was an extremely close set going 2-3. And again, these games were just absolutely amazing, guys. If you're new here, please do drop a subscription on my channel. I upload Overwatch League content every single day. Also, follow my stream. I'm live after every single Overwatch League day. We do really fun stuff. You guys can ask me any questions. We analyze the games. I do rankings for heroes, players, teams. Also, tune in for the end of this video for more information about my podcast. It's gonna be amazing, guys. Now let's go ahead and hop into this video. We'll start off first with the Houston Outlaws and Seoul Dynasty. All Seoul Dynasty had to do was win 2 sets. Beat the Houston Outlaws, beat the Florida Mayhem. Houston Outlaws were on a downslope. Sure, Florida Mayhem were rising, but Seoul Dynasty has looked great this stage so far. Besides that loss to London Spitfire, they looked really good. And nobody expects them to come and lose to the Houston Outlaws. I knew there was a possibility of it if they choked, which we have seen them do so far in the Overwatch League, and they did just that. They choked. They had an interesting strat coming into the series. They took out Fleta, they took out Miro, they put in Wikid and Kuki, and they started off with a good defense on Hanamura. But unfortunately for them, the Houston Outlaws had an even better defense. We even saw something we never really seen on this map before, and that was Jake's Junkrat, which really helped them win this first map. I really did not expect the Houston Outlaws to pull off a 6-minute hold. Seoul Dynasty, all they had to do was get like 2.5 ticks, something that we usually always see on 2CP, which is the Korean teams capping both points. But they just couldn't. They kept hammering their heads into the high ground, and it just never worked out. They lost the first map. We went into Nepal. We saw Kuki run their Risa. They looked good on Sanctum. The tank strategy was good. They went up 2-0, tied the set 1-1. But the next map, Kings Row, is really where Seoul Dynasty got in trouble. Because let's be honest, guys, whenever you're running up against the Houston Outlaws on Kings Row, it's going to be a problem. You have to deal with the Jake Rat, and it might be a huge meme, but we all know Jake can play some goddamn Junkrat. Seriously. We really just got reminded how good he was on that hero, especially on Kings Row, a map that is so tight with all these angles that Junkrat just really succeeds in. It still was very close though, and if it wasn't for Muma hitting a massive shatter on their last attack, I don't think they would have capped that point. They were kind of throwing ults at a bad team fight, but again, Muma saved the day. Huge Earth Shatter. He knew he did it too after the game. We seen that smirk on his face. And they went up 2-1 in the series, moving on to Gibraltar. We saw Fleta come in for Wikid. Wikid really didn't work out throughout the set. We saw a decent McCree on Kings Row, decent Genji on the other maps. Just nothing really was working too well for him. Bringing in Fleta, though, maybe could change something. Unfortunately, though, it did not. The Houston Outlaws started off on attack. They were running Jake on that Tracer, something that we've seen and haven't been impressed with. So I was a little iffy about them at first, but after we started seeing Linkser get all of these kills, it was due to Jake creating all that space for him. He said it himself in the interview. He's not trying to play a Tracer style where he goes and dives, kills supports, looks like the superstar. He's literally going in, trying to create space for Linkser and Muma so they can carry him. Because he knows, he said it in the interview, that he is not that great of a Tracer. And compared to other ones in the league, he's definitely one of the worst. And he plays to that, and because he's smart, he understands how to play the hero at a level where it can still benefit his team a lot. So kudos to Jake, definitely stepped up on the Tracer there. Linkser obviously looked great on the Widowmaker. Cool Matt looked good on this map. Muma, just all around, the Houston Outlaws showed up and they clutched Gibraltar. And Seoul Dynasty, more like Choke Dynasty, because it's just ridiculous that they couldn't win this set. Sure, Houston Outlaws, they're a good opponent. They've been a pretty damn good team in the Overwatch League so far, but still, it's Seoul Dynasty, you guys. At one point, we're the best players in the entire world, the best team. You really need to show up when the pressure is on. It's something they failed to do throughout the entire league so far, and it's really disappointing. Especially as somebody who used to love Lunatic High and how good they were, and how clutch they always showed up in the big matches. It's like the complete opposite now. They just fall apart, and they're more than likely not going to make the playoffs now. So real quick, let's go ahead and look at the playoffs. I'll break it down for you guys, and let's figure out who has the best shot. Alright, so as we see here, New York Excelsior still looking good, gonna be the #1 seed. We move on to the second seed, probably going to be London Spitfire. I doubt they'll drop a set to either Dallas Fuel or Shanghai. Sure, Dallas did good today, but they're not going to beat the London Spitfire. So they've basically got the second seed locked up. Now this is what we're all interested in. We have Philadelphia Fusion sitting at 6-3 plus 11. Then the Los Angeles Gladiators are 6-3 plus 10. Only one map behind Philly. Seoul Dynasty plus 7 at 6-3. So it's looking very unlikely that the Seoul Dynasty will advance unless LA Gladiators and Philadelphia Fusion lose, and then Seoul Dynasty wins. So as for the teams that they play, Seoul Dynasty, they started off tomorrow against the Florida Mayhem. I picked them to win this, but now I'm not too sure. They're in a position where they must win this game, and I'm doubting that they will. They might choke even harder than they did today. Moving on to the second match tomorrow, it's the Philadelphia Fusion and Los Angeles Valiant. So this is a very big game for the Philadelphia Fusion. If they win this set, they will more than likely move on. 3-2, 3-1, 4-0. Obviously, the better map score, the more chance they have to move on. But a win will probably be good enough. Looking at the last match of the stage, we have the Gladiators taking on the Boston Uprising. The Gladiators must win this, and they must win it with a pretty good score, either 3-1 or 4-0. A 3-2 will not do, because if the Philadelphia Fusion win their match, no matter what, Los Angeles Gladiators will not be in if they 3-2. So it's still a tight race between the Los Angeles Gladiators and Philadelphia Fusion. I do believe Philadelphia Fusion are going to have an easier time with the Valiant, though. The Valiant have been really struggling as of late. They're definitely going through some team issues. As for the Boston Uprising, they looked really good yesterday. They beat the San Francisco Shock, and there could be some troubles for the Gladiators. So we'll just have to see how it unfolds. If I had to pick right now, I'd say Philadelphia Fusion had the best shot and probably will make it. Now, let's move on to the second set of the day, which probably what most of you guys are waiting for. The Dallas Fuel. How did they do it? How did they manage to get 2 maps against the New York Excelsior when they were looking like the worst team in the entire league? First of all, let's start off with Seagull and Mickie. Both of them swapped roles in this match. We've seen Seagull on the Diva for the very first time. He's usually a DPS player. Then we saw Mickie swapping off the off tank over to the Winston. And to be honest, these two together have shown more teamwork than any other tank duo in this team have all season long, which is quite sad if I'm being honest. There was definitely synergy between the two. Every time Seagull was in, Mickie was in. Every time Mickie was in, Seagull was in. They were helping each other. It looked like they were even micromanaging off each other, using Matrix, then Bubble. I was very surprised how high level these guys looked in such short practice time. We've also heard around the block that Seagull was swapping to off tank. The players have said it, and it was something that I and a lot of other people were definitely hesitant about. Sure, Seagull has proved to be a very flexible player and one that can get good at heroes, but it was a stretch for him to swap to that Diva and be very good right off the bat. And honestly, he proved us wrong. For his debut against New York Excelsior, playing at the least above average, wow, that's incredible. As for Mickie, what is he, the 6th, 7th, 20th, 100,000th main tank on this team? Oh, by the way, guys, Oj got banned for 4 matches, something we also have to cover that I forgot about because these games were so damn crazy. We'll talk about that little after the match. But Mickie on the main tank throughout his history on Envious. They used to like to run Coco on like Reinhardt on Kings Road, then they'd run Mickie on the Winston, Doomfist for effect. It was a pretty wild comp, but it worked. So he does have a little bit of experience playing it, but it's also very different playing Winston when you are the main tank and you don't have a Reinhardt on your team. And to be honest, I was pretty impressed. Sure, he jumped in and died a few times, but the main point is that Seagull was with him almost every single time he did that. There was just so much more teamwork than we've ever seen from them. Effect and Rascal were diving together. We saw Seagull and Mickie with them as well. The teamwork just looked amazing compared to anything we've seen so far. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into it. Starting off on the first map, it was Hanamura. The set was close right off the bat. The Dallas Fuel, they started off on defense, and to our surprise, they put up a pretty good one. And they held the New York Excelsior down to 17 seconds, which is usually pretty damn good for 2CP, especially the Dallas Fuel going up against New York Excelsior. So I was intrigued. I was like, wow, okay. They're doing decent. Let's see what they can do on their attack. They came out, and their attack wasn't blazing fast, but it was pretty quick, and they had a 2-minute advantage over the New York Excelsior going into their second attacks. At this point, I was thinking, all right, you know, maybe New York Excelsior were taking them lightly. They're going to step it up now and probably crush them throughout the series. They had a little bit of a misstep on 2CP, but they're Gucci, right? They came back. They won the map. We went to Lijiang Tower, and no, that's not what happened, guys. The Dallas Fuel continued to fight. They had this strategy prepared for Control Center. They ran Effect on Reaper. Mickie was on Hog. Seagull was on Diva. Rascal on May. Yeah, I know. Pretty crazy, right? Sounds like some crap that the Los Angeles Gladiators would pull. But no, it was the Dallas Fuel. And it worked. We've seen the Dallas Fuel get wonky with comps in the Overwatch League so far. It was more specifically early in stage 1, and it never worked back then. But they're bringing it back, and they looked good. Control Center was 100-0. The New York Excelsior were 100% caught off guard, and they couldn't come up with a way to counter that comp. Moving on to the second round, which was Night Market. Now, this one was very entertaining, very close, back and forth. Went 99-99. It was really close near the end of that last team fight. I really would have liked to have seen what was actually going on rather than Rascal on Genji battling Arc on Lucio, just dancing back and forth and healing himself. Kind of missed out on that team fight, but the Dallas Fuel, they came in clutch. The kill feed looked like Effect was popping off, and somehow they took a map off of New York Excelsior, the so-called best Overwatch League team right now. Despite that debacle at the end with Rascal, he looked great on this map. His Genji came through. Him and Effect, man, they played great today. It was actually ridiculous how well some of these players on Dallas Fuel performed. Really, I was impressed. We then moved on to Hollywood, which was another close map. And that's what was so great about this set. And seriously unexpected, every map was competitive. Even Ilios, which was kind of a stomp for New York Excelsior, you can still look at it and say it was somewhat competitive. Janice came in on Hollywood. New York Excelsior started off on attack. They pushed it all the way through with no time left. Then we saw the Dallas Fuel swap over to their attack. They pushed it pretty far. They struggled throughout. They lost team fights a lot, but they did get it pretty close to the end on third. But unfortunately for them, though, New York Excelsior held on their defense, and this gave them the lead in the series 2-1. And then we moved on to Gibraltar, probably the map of the day, dude. Wow, it was so intense, so close, all the way to the very end. New York Excelsior started off an attack. They were blazing fast through. Libero, he's doing his Hanzo thing at the start. They capped first, they capped second. They had 5 minutes and 20 seconds left to cap third. The Dallas Fuel came in absolutely clutch. Again, Mickie and Seagull were just in the right spots together all the time. Rascal, he's so damn flexible. Pulled out that McCree and looked like an animal on this map. They pulled off the hold. Then they swapped to their attack. They were struggling on their push. It looked like they were going to be held on second, but no, they came in clutch. They capped it. Again, Rascal popping off on the McCree. They got to third. They had 1:20. Push it all the way through third with 1:20. Something New York Excelsior couldn't do with 5 minutes and 20 seconds left. How were the Dallas Fuel going to accomplish this? I have no idea, but they did. Well, I do have an idea. Seagull sat in the cart basically for 2 minutes straight, just shooting stuff. He ended up losing his mech eventually, but by the time that happened, it was too late because Rascal was sitting behind, popping heads, dude, left and right. He got about 4 kills, and they took Gibraltar. What an amazing map. Shout out to them, dude. It's just incredible how much these guys have improved in such little time. Whoever was calling the shots and decisions today, please keep calling them. I'm begging you guys. I love seeing the Dallas Fuel compete at this level. This is what we expected to see from them. And the Dallas Fuel, they forced a game 5. Ilios. All comes down to this. And I had no idea what was going to happen. Dallas Fuel had won the first control map, which was Lijiang Tower. So I had a slight feeling that they might be able to do it. Then again, New York Excelsior, like, oh man, this was just crazy set. I was in awe at this point. I really was, guys. And New York Excelsior, they did. As I said earlier, this was probably one of the maps that you could say wasn't very close. Still though, the second round did tick up 99-99. Dallas Fuel put up hell of a fight, dude. They ended up losing 2-0 on this map and 3-2 in the set overall. And on Ilios, it really was SBB. He showed up when they needed him. Game 5, about to lose a set to Dallas Fuel. If they lose, there's a chance they don't get that first seed. So it was very important for them to win Ilios. And as I said, SBB, they called him. He answered. He put up and he shut down the Dallas Fuel. He looked absolutely amazing on Ilios. But damn, dude, this is exactly what we wanted to see. Some tanks that could work together properly and create space for their DPS. Supports that would play behind their tanks and make sure they were always in a position where they could receive help. It honestly all looked so good for the Dallas Fuel. Too perfect to believe. If I told you guys this happened and you didn't watch the games, you would not believe it. 100%. Nobody would. So congratulations to the Dallas Fuel. They might not have won, but they needed this and they deserved it. I'm a little excited to see what they can do against London Spitfire. I don't think it'll be as close as this match was, but they might be able to get a map if they play like this. They really might. And if for some reason the London Spitfire decide to run Hureg, then there definitely is a chance, but I don't think they will. They won't take the Dallas Fuel lightly. They're in a good position to make the Stage 2 playoffs. I don't think they're going to mess with it and blow it out. So wow, I mean, we might as well move on to the next set. I think I've said everything I wanted to say. We had the Boston Uprising going up against San Francisco Shock. This was our second look at Sinatra. Pretty cool. I think he definitely played better today than he did yesterday. He definitely had his moments. I even felt like Sinatra was the best performer on his entire team in this match, and we saw him flex a decent amount. Sure, when he flexes, he doesn't sit on a hero for a very long time, but he will flex here and there and spend a couple minutes on a hero like Junkrat, Widow, Soldier, Genji, and obviously his main time on that Tracer. But he does flex to a lot of these heroes, and there are times where he looks pretty good on these heroes as well. So much more impressive day for Sinatra. As for the San Francisco Shock as a whole, I don't necessarily think they played bad. More like the Boston Uprising really showed up for this match and they played well. Note once again is a really underrated diva in this league. This guy came out of nowhere. He's been consistently performing the entire league. Every single match he's played, and I've never looked at him and been like, damn, what's he doing? Or he made a pretty major mistake. Very clean, very smart diva play from him. Striker, most underrated Tracer in the league in my opinion. Dreamcasper showed up today. He looked like he did in stage 1 today. He's been quiet in stage 2 so far, which was kind of surprising because he really broke out as a player in stage 1, but he really didn't find that success all that often in stage 2. He looked good today though. It was a very close series. It started off on Hanamura and the San Francisco Shock went up 1-0. Then we moved on to Nepal and it was Boston Uprising's time to shine. Their Sanctum strats looked good. Dreamcasper had some really nice blades on Shrine to help them win this map, and they brought the series to 1-1. Then we got to Hollywood. Boston Uprising looked great on defense. They took this map as well, leading the series 2-1 going into Root. And I said this yesterday, Root is probably going to be San Francisco Shock's best map overall because they really do have the perfect pieces for it, especially when Super comes in. Dante and Sinatra are just perfect for the Sombra Tracer and the Genji Tracer, and this really is the best map for those comps. It still was a close map, and Boston Uprising came close to winning it. Dreamcasper had some nice McCree plays, but in the end, it wasn't enough. San Francisco Shock staggered in from their spawns, and they took this map, giving us another Game 5. And this was the San Francisco Shock's second Game 5 in a row. Last night, we saw them go to Game 5 against the Florida Mayhem, and they ended up putting Baby Bay in on Elios along with Sinatra. And honestly, Baby Bay did struggle, especially on that Widowmaker map, but they also struggled in this one. First round, they got 100-0'd. They didn't really have anybody that could deal with Dreamcasper's Pharah, which is pretty damn good, by the way. Sinatra tried for it on the Soldier. Didn't really work out for him. Boston Uprising went up 1-0 on Elios. But that was just for the first round of Elios. On the second one, Sinatra actually looked pretty damn good on the Soldier. He forced Dreamcasper to swap off the Pharah, got him on Genji, and San Francisco Shock, they responded with a nice round as well on Elios. And going into that very last round, which is Runes, and we all know this is a very good Widowmaker map, somewhere where you maybe would have wanted Baby Bay, but Sinatra did get an opening pick on the Widowmaker, but besides that, he didn't really get much else done throughout this round. He got picked by Dreamcasper, and the Boston Uprising took this round 100-0, giving them the series win 3-2. Overall, again, it was an extremely close and fun series to watch. It was cool seeing Sinatra in there again. They're giving him a lot of games, so he should be able to ease in pretty quick. I'd say give him maybe 3 or 4 more, and we should see him at a pretty damn good level. Also, San Francisco Shock are in a good position, especially once they get Super in. He's a huge playmaker. They really need him right now. But what is very cool about them is they have some really good DPS players. Dante, Sinatra, Architect, Baby Bay. I mean, I guess IDQD, but he won't really play. Besides him, those other 4 are very good. And once they really learn how to swap them in and out, this team is going to be deadly. It might take a stage or even longer though, but when that management figures out how to run them properly, they're gonna be good. So OGE, the new Dallas Fuel tank, was suspended for 4 games for boosting. Many of you guys may think, whoa, what the hell though? Why was Sato suspended for 30 if he was a booster as well, and OGE only got 4? So the reason why they're so different is because Sato was actually the owner of a boosting company. So he was basically running the show, hiring people to boost for him, setting the jobs up and stuff. As for O, she was just an employee at one of these places. So that's the main reason for the difference. Let's see a comparison, talk about a drug lord and then a drug dealer. Obviously, a drug lord is going to get a lot more time than somebody who was just dealing some drugs. So that is the reason it is so different. And thank you guys for watching this video. If you're new around here, drop a sub. Why haven't you already? Overwatch League content every single day. Also, check the stream out after the games tonight. I will be live talking about anything and everything Overwatch League. Also, guys, last but not least, the podcast is going to happen this Sunday after the playoff. I will be live on my Twitch stream. We'll be doing calls with all of the subscribers. You guys will have a chance to call in, talk to me, ask any questions you guys want. We can argue. We'll have a couple people come in at the same time, and about every 5 to 10 minutes, we will switch people in and out. So maybe 20 to 50 people will get a chance to be on the podcast. It's going to be insane. It's the first of its kind in the Overwatch scene. I'm super excited about it. I'm going to leave a poll down below for you guys to vote on which times will be best for the stream. So go to the straw poll down below. take a vote, and I can't wait to see you guys there. Thank you for watching. I'm out of here, guys. Peace.